Imagine the most powerful military on Earth preparing to invade a country. Aircraft carriers positioned in nearby seas, stealth bombers ready on distant air bases, satellites watching every movement from space. On paper, it looks like an overwhelming advantage, but there is one country where even the strongest military planners hesitate. A country where geography, strategy, and decades of preparation have created one of the most complex defense systems in the modern world. That country is Iran. For decades, analysts, generals, and geopolitical experts have asked the same question. If a war ever started, could anyone realistically invade Iran? Today on Inside the Boardroom, we break down why Iran may be one of the hardest countries in the world to conquer. Chapter 1: Geography, Nature's Fortress. One of the first challenges any invading force would face is Iran's geography. Iran is not a small country. In fact, it is one of the largest nations in the Middle East, covering more than 1.6 million square kilometers. That is roughly 3 times the size of France. But the real challenge isn't just the size, it's the terrain. Iran is dominated by rugged mountains, deserts, and difficult landscapes that naturally slow down military operations. 2 massive mountain ranges dominate the country. The first is the Zagros Mountains, stretching along Iran's western border. The second is the Alborz mountain range in the north. These mountains create natural barriers that make the movement of large military forces extremely difficult. For tanks, armored vehicles, and supply convoys, navigating through these regions would be slow and dangerous. History has shown that mountainous terrain can neutralize technological advantages. Even modern militaries struggle in environments where mobility is limited. This is one reason why military planners always consider geography before launching major operations, and Iran's geography favors defense. Chapter 2: A population that can mobilize. Another factor that complicates any invasion is Iran's population. Iran has more than 85 million people. This provides a large potential pool for military mobilization. In addition to its regular armed forces, Iran maintains powerful paramilitary organizations. One of the most important is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, often called the IRGC. The IRGC was established after the Iranian Revolution to protect the country's political system. Over time, it has grown into one of the most influential military institutions in Iran. The organization controls elite military units, missile forces, intelligence operations, and regional networks. It also commands a volunteer force known as the Basiji militia. These groups could potentially mobilize large numbers of people during a national conflict. This means an invading army would not only face conventional military resistance, but also widespread defensive mobilization. History has repeatedly shown that wars become far more difficult when local populations actively resist. Chapter 3: The Missile Strategy. Iran understands that it cannot match the technological scale of the United States military. Instead of building massive fleets of advanced fighter jets or aircraft carriers, Iran has focused heavily on missile technology. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones form the backbone of its strategic deterrent. These weapons allow Iran to strike targets across long distances without needing to deploy large conventional forces. Military analysts often describe Iran's missile arsenal as one of the largest in the Middle East. This capability creates an important strategic effect. Any country considering military action must also consider the risk of missile retaliation. Regional bases, military facilities, and infrastructure could become targets. This missile strategy increases the potential cost of conflict, and when the cost of war rises, decision-makers often become more cautious. Chapter 4, Part 4: The Strait of Hormuz Factor. Another powerful strategic element in Iran's defense is geography beyond its land borders. One of the most important maritime choke points in the world lies directly next to Iran. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf with the global ocean. Despite being relatively narrow, this waterway carries a massive share of global energy shipments. Oil tankers from multiple Middle Eastern countries pass through this strait on their way to international markets. Because Iran borders the northern side of the strait, it holds significant strategic leverage over the region. Even the possibility of disruption in this shipping route could send energy markets into panic. For the global economy, maintaining open shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz is critical. For Iran, this geography creates strategic influence far beyond its borders. Chapter 5: Asymmetric Warfare. Iran's defense strategy is built around a concept known as asymmetric warfare. Instead of matching larger powers directly with similar military structures, Iran uses tactics designed to offset technological disadvantages. This includes a variety of strategies: fast attack boats, naval mines, drone warfare, cyber operations, missile strikes, decentralized military networks. These tactics are designed to complicate military operations for stronger opponents. For example, small, fast-moving naval vessels can challenge much larger ships in narrow waters. Drone systems can conduct surveillance or targeted strikes at relatively low cost. Cyber capabilities can disrupt communications or infrastructure. When these strategies are combined, they create a layered defense system. Instead of one large defensive line, Iran relies on multiple overlapping strategies. This makes the battlefield unpredictable. Chapter 6: Regional Alliances. Iran's strategic influence does not stop at its borders. Over the years, Iran has developed relationships with various groups and organizations across the Middle East. One of the most well-known is Hezbollah in Lebanon. These alliances provide Iran with additional layers of strategic influence in the region. From a geopolitical perspective, this means any conflict involving Iran could potentially affect multiple countries. Regional dynamics often play a major role in how conflicts unfold. Alliances, partnerships, and rivalries can expand conflicts beyond their original borders. For military planners, this adds another level of complexity. Chapter 7. Lessons from History. Military strategists often study historical conflicts to understand future risks. Recent wars have shown how difficult large-scale invasions can become. Long supply lines, difficult terrain, and determined defenders can transform quick military campaigns into prolonged conflicts. Even technologically advanced militaries have struggled in environments where geography and local resistance create persistent challenges. Iran's defense strategy appears to reflect these historical lessons. By focusing on layered defenses, regional influence, and asymmetric tactics, the country has attempted to make invasion extremely costly. Final conclusion. In geopolitics, power is not only measured by military size. Sometimes power comes from strategy, geography, and preparation. Iran has spent decades building a defense system designed to make invasion extremely difficult. From mountain ranges and deserts to missiles and regional alliances, every element contributes to a layered deterrent strategy. This does not mean conflict is impossible, but it does explain why many analysts believe that invading Iran would be one of the most complex military operations in the modern world. Because in the end, the hardest battles are not always fought with the biggest weapons. Sometimes they are fought with geography, strategy, and time. For simple explanations of wars, geopolitics, and global power struggles, subscribe, comment, and share inside the boardroom.